Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, if you've got horses, please hold on to them. Hold those horses. Because, hold your horses! Alien news about a remake of The Black Hole done by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright, Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver, The Running Man, Shaun of the Dead, and fucking all sorts of other great stuff. And co-written with Joe Cornish, who did Ant-Man and Attack the Block. It's not happening. Earlier reports that Edgar Wright was doing a remake of Gary Nelson's classic 1979 sci-fi action extravaganza, one of Disney's darkest hours. Because you've got Anthony Perkins getting eviscerated by spinning claws. You've got dark, humanoid automatons. You've got a megalomaniac poised on the brink of the event horizon to go into a black hole. It's very dark, very brooding, very nightmarish. And ye gods, we love it. But it has many ideas which are not properly explored. It's kind of like a great concept. It took, a decade to get the film made. It was based on the Towering Inferno, the Poseidon Adventure. It wasn't a sci-fi Star Wars rip-off at all. Get those ideas out of your heads right now. It never was to do with Star Wars. It was being devised and developed way before Lucas's movie came out. It was a disaster movie just set in space. That's all it was. But then Star Wars came out, so they added cutesy robots, Vincent and old Bob, but also, you can't see, I've had to turn a certain light off because of the lens flares. I don't want J.J. Abrams getting involved in a remake of The Black Hole. No, we don't want that. So no lens flares here. But somewhere up here is Maximilian, the scariest robot ever. Okay, there's a few other contenders for that throne, but no, he is one of the scariest. A burgundy, demonic look. He's got that flat head that spins round, and he's big, but he can fly. He lives in corners of great big gothic spaceship, cathedral-like amphitheatres. He lives up in the shadows like a spider and comes gliding down. And he's like a Swiss Army knife. He's got tons of different weaponry he's got loads of different limbs as well, and he can go upside down and he can crash through walls. He's a badass twat in Burgundy. One of the greatest robots the genre's ever offered up. And I love the movie. I've reviewed it, I've talked about it many times. John Barry's score, which you're hearing bubbling away in the background, brooding itself through a nightmarish cosmos towards the infinity hole of a black hole. So, I reported on this because the news came out only a scant 2 days ago, and I was like, wow, this is great. Now, it was only just rumoured, but it was rumoured that Edgar Wright, Joe Cornish were in talks with Disney, and we're gonna do this. And Edgar Wright has said many, many times how much he loves and admires the black hole and would love to do a version of that. Well, and then the news breaks today that it's bullshit. It's absolute wankerama. Not happening. Where this story came from, well, I can tell you where it came from. It came from someone called Daniel Richtman. Or is it pronounced Reitman? Because he was a wrong man on this one, apparently. A reliable source within the Hollywood industry. Thing is, why would you ever suspect that Edgar Wright and Joe Cornish were going to be involved in a remake of The Black Hole? What alchemy would conjure that idea of, well, I'm gonna tell this story. I'm gonna get loads of YouTubers and idiots out there who are gonna follow this. No, there's no reason to do that. There simply isn't. I didn't gain anything by it. So, and obviously Edgar Wright didn't really gain anything by it either. But why would you do it? Unless there was something which was being mooted about, Hollywood, that, yeah, these guys are going to do it. Rumours are always bizarre, but there's usually, let's not break it down to a percentage, because, who cares? 99 times out of 1,000 times that, you talk about a percentage, you're going to be 100% wrong. Rumours are rumours, but there's always something there. There's a kernel of truth. Something has to have happened. People can get the things mixed up and like, I saw Edgar Wright going into, who's in charge of Disney now? Who fucking cares, to be honest? Because Disney's now got Star Wars and fucked that up good style. Disney's got everything and fucked everything up. But someone has seen and heard something which I think could well be true, but maybe it's a deal which just couldn't get settled, and no, it's collapsed like a black hole. It's collapsed in on itself before anything even transpired. So the news broke today that it's all wrong. The rumours are a complete lie, not true at all. Edgar Wright and the other guy, Joe Cornish, are not involved with Disney to do a remake of The Black Hole. No one's heard from Joe Cornish or Edgar Wright about this, of course. It's just all conjecture on fan sites and forums and websites and all that, and obviously YouTube. And sadly, I played a part in that as well. Damn it! I hate being part of something which is absolutely fuck all. And I was like, yeah, picking it up because I love The Black Hole. I always champion it. I think, although I love Vincent and old Bob, the cutesy robots, I love them. Part of me wishes that they weren't there, and I would think that a remake would be as dark as the original movie is, and it is dark. It's nasty, it's sinister, it's very gothically brooding and very haunted as well. But they bring the robots in, and they have lots of little comical moments and interplay, and their very structure and design is cutesy. Of course it is. But in the genre, we've had R2-D2, of course. We've had Huey, Dewey, and Louie in Silent Running, and we've had many other cutesy robots as well as the big malevolent bastards as well. But of course, they've got that covered with Maximilian. But the film has so many grandiose ideas, existential ideas about going through the black hole. What is on the other side? What happens to time? What happens to you if you go through? And the whole concept of the Cygnus, the big haunted Gothic cathedral in space, lit up like a steampunk cosmic dream when the lights come on. Poised on the brink, they've got the anti-gravitational device that they have which keeps them from being pulled in. But they're sending probes into the black hole and learning stuff about it. It's wonderful. So many great concepts. And it doesn't really deliver on any of them, really. And the quasi-ecclesiastical finale where obviously the big bad guy, Reinhardt, played by Maximilian Schell. You get the great actor Maximilian Schell plays a megalomaniac called Reinhardt, but he has a robot called Maximilian, the actor's actual name, and his crew of humanoids, all the long dead crew who've been reanimated. It's ghostly, gothic, grisly, grandiosely grand guignol in the galactic sphere. And I think it works tremendously. But there's so many ideas about going through the black hole. Maximilian, the robot, and Reinhardt become one and the same and end up on a hellish planet, which literally is figuratively and very visually hell itself, because they're the bad boys. But our good crew, Robert Forster, Yvette Mimeo, Joseph Bottoms, and Vincent and Bob and all that, whatever, get through the black hole and go through a celestial tunnel with all glowing lights and effigies of possibly, biblical Christ-like imagery, angels and things, and come out to the other side. There was meant to be a sequel, of course, but the film was not a success. It did okay at the box office, but it didn't warrant enough to make a sequel. And critics were a bit unfair to it. I saw the film when I was a kid and I was absolutely smitten by it. I would be, 8, 9 years old when I saw it. Blew me away. That was someone going through a black hole there on a dirt bike. Don't know if you heard that. But I got the original figures that came, as the merch. I got the original Alan Dean Foster novelisation, and I got the soundtrack on vinyl. It is there. It's over there. Numerous posters, and I loved it. Me and all my mates, school playgrounds, we were reenacting scenes. We were trying to be Maximilian, smashing through the walls and all that, and coming after him. We couldn't quite spin in midair and do all that kind of stuff, but it was great. And those blasters they had, Robert Forster, Alligator. Oh God, so many great movies. He's a wonderful actor, wonderful. Sadly now deceased, but he was great. A proper chiseled, sardonic, captain. And Ernest Borgnine, Cabby, The Wild Bunch, Emperor of the North. Oh my God, so many wonderful movies with Ernest Borgnine. And he plays the reporter Harry, because the long lost spaceship, the Cygnus, Yvette Mimio's dad, Reinhardt, was on, not Reinhardt, sorry. Her dad was on board that ship, and they've gone out there to try to find that ship, and they find it poisoned and brink of a black hole, and of course her dad will be one of these horrible sort of grisly humanoid automatons working all the computers and everything for Reinhardt to gauge all the concepts and physics of a black hole. Very dark, but Harry Ernest Borgnine kind of got along as a reporter, but he's in it for himself. And although he's actually, for a lot of the movie, he seems like a nice guy, and he probably is, but when he gets the chance to break away, because I'm not going into that fucking thing, and he will ditch his fellow crew to try and escape himself, and that ends in disaster. But I love the movie. I think it's great. And I think Edgar Wright, with his visual panache, his hyperkinetic editing, his great eye for action visuals, could have really turned this into a much more blitzkrieg of a movie, but also have put a lot more ideas backing up the concepts and telling more of a more cohesive story. A lot of stuff in the Black Hole, the original version, is, there's ideas there which are great, but they don't really go anywhere. And that's great when you're a kid. It's just imagination. Wow, you can leave it up. You can make out your own conclusions. And I love the ambivalence of a lot of the scientific mumbo jumbo. Nowadays, you would probably have to be more precise and a bit more quantum physics sort of relevant. And I think he'd bring that in. But I think he'd be more pyrotechnic and more, the action scenes would be bigger, more grandiose. And the thing is, in the black hole, you have the meteor storm, which is outstanding. I know I've talked about it in the last video and when I reviewed the movie as well. But when they're running down the gantries and these big thundering balls of fire. There was a joke I was going to make there. I'm not going to do it. And they're rolling down, and the visuals are incredibly good. And they're running across as this thing's getting closer, smashing through gantries, heading towards their gantry, and some of them fall down en route after you're picked up, and then as they run off the frame, it melts its way through. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. And I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit peeved I was really super excited about an idea of a remake. Yeah, the guy that did Top Gun Maverick and F1 and oh god, other stuff as well, I've forgotten now. He was earmarked, Tron Legacy, Kosinski, he was earmarked for this years and years ago. That fell through. That fell through for a lot of different reasons. And that, he basically said, look, my version's not going to get made. I'm not involved in this anymore. And that was a while ago. And then you get this, Edgar Wright can do it, a visionary director, a guy that's got a real eye for, you know, fast editing, great concepts, and really great involving action scenes, and a knowing sense of what fans want to see. I think I said previously, he's like a cross between Tarantino and Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi in the idea that he's visually all over the place, and cinematic verisimilitude, and really going for it with fast editing, great camera shots, weird angles. He takes you along for the ride. I love that about his stuff. Lots of whirligig stuff. Last Night in Soho being a huge case in point. But also, music-wise, like Tarantino, he references other films' music. Pop songs and ballads will be in there. And also, we love John Barry's score for The Black Hole. And I remember saying in the other video that it would be great, and I'm absolutely positive that he would have referenced John Barry's score. Some of the main themes, there'd be an homage to it within it, his musicality, whoever he brings in to do the score, and supply the soundtrack. Score is the music written for the movie, designed for the movie. The soundtrack is songs and stuff put in from maybe elsewhere to create the soundtrack, you know. So the movie score is something different, but I was getting all worked up. I was getting all quite excited about it. I was telling other people, you know, in the pubs, you know, like The Black Hole's gonna get remade. Edgar Wright's doing it. We're going like, oh, The Black Hole. No, that was the one with Vincent the Robot, and like, oh, that big fucking hulking burgundy bastard. Like, yeah. And they're going like, it was a rip off of Star Wars, wasn't it? And I'm like, shut up. And they pick him off the deck. Don't ever say that again. As I'm putting like a bottle of Bud in their face. Don't ever do that again. You know, learn from me. Actually, I was far more violent than that. But everyone knows the film, and they all have a respect and maybe nostalgic admiration for it. Critics are so snipey, snobbish bastards. They genuinely are. I've met a few critics. I've been in movie circles, and I've been to actual premieres of movies, well, press releases of movies a few days before the films come out. I don't get invited. Funny enough, now that I'm doing this on the channel, I don't get invited anywhere near as much as when I was doing stuff for different forums and different websites. I wonder why that is. Don't know. But I'm open to invites though, and I'm moving these circles, and I might have loved the film, but you know, it's a genre film. But the snobby critics, you know, yeah, they don't know why. It's already, they've dropped it down a few degrees, a few leagues, because it's not serious drama. You know, it's not socio-political. It's not giving anything. It's not telling you anything about the human experience. It's just a bit of fun. A bit of fun is still massive artistry. Has a huge amount, especially sci-fi and fantasy. Have so much more going. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh yeah, you set a camera up and you've got two people in the kitchen talking for an hour and a half, going through a marriage breakdown. It's relevant, it's important, the acting is superlative. My God, it puts you in there. It erodes your very soul. Well, yeah, it's great. But what about a film where you've had hundreds of people creating effects, visuals, practical effects, you know, and you've got people acting amongst all that as well, and he's still telling a great, exciting story. I'm afraid stories are all, it's in the telling of the story. Cave pictographs from old cavemen and all that, telling a story, capturing a woolly mammoth, spearing it, getting stomped on. You've got all that stuff. Hieroglyphics in ancient Egypt, all these things carved into ancient runes, ancient stones and monoliths. They're telling stories. Everything is telling stories for many, many, many centuries before the written word went down. People were speaking, maybe it's grunts and growls, but you were telling a story, a verbal story, and then in the passing from generation to generation, the story would evolve. Storytelling, there's no limits to what storytelling can do, and the effect it can have upon you. It's all very important, all very relevant, and the fun things are just as important as the really serious things that analyse the human condition and why we are what we are and why we act the way we do. You know, that's great, and I love that as well. And Mrs. Kilt-Man would definitely err on the side of the real life kitchen sink dramas. She's more moved by that. That's great. But she still has an innate respect for the shit that I love. Spaceships, giant sharks, great big grizzly bears, you know, lightsabers and fucking, you know, one-man armies with muscles killing sways. She understands that, because a story is a story. And you can be snobbish and go like, well, I don't like action movies, I don't like sci-fi. It's up to you. You know, everyone's got their own preference. I like to think I can watch any genre of movie and or read any genre of book and understand and glean something of enjoyment and entertainment and something important out of it. I might not want to look at it because, oh, that's not my kind of thing. But if I do end up watching it or reading it, then, you know, I go, well, you know, there's something about that which works. It's not my thing, but it still worked, you know. And this is the thing about snobs and movie critics, that still to this day, despite the biggest movies of all time are action fantasy movie blockbusters, sci-fi, big sci-fi stuff, but you haven't got to be Dune to be, that it's telling you something. It's a marvelous adaptation of the original novels. It's brilliant. The acting is outstanding. Yeah, it is, of course. The visuals are see, they go on about the visuals then, but a low budget or a lower budget, hokey pokey sort of, like, you know, bit of just space jism, you know. Well, it's funny for that kind of thing, but it's very shallow. Doesn't really go anywhere. There's a lot of ideas there, but they're not really explored. You see how the snobbishness comes out, and the black hole was the recipient of a hell of a lot of that. Not only the black hole, a couple of years later, The Thing got the same shitty end of the stick. And, well, we don't need to go into The Thing right now. Oh, God, how many videos? How many? Someone out there can H-Rock, you must know how many videos I've done on The Thing, because you've watched every single video I've ever done, and he has. He's great. He's a real devotee. And God love him. But and hopefully there'll be a psychiatrist who can sort him out before long. But and wean him off this obsession. I'm joking. But great. All our favourite genre films have been dissed and ripped apart by critics. They may be reappraised. Yeah, The Thing being a major case, and Blade Runner, two major cases in point there. But the black hole is that weird one, I suppose, because it's done in a very serious, po-faced fashion with great, dark, again, brooding, haunting ideas, obsession, megalomania, madness, loss, grief, and what is the black hole? What? Because don't forget, in the 70s, the black holes, they'd been discovered, obviously. Well, they've been spotted, but no one really knew what they were. Carl Sagan was about to, embark on the huge Cosmos series, and now we know a lot more about black holes. But we still don't know everything about black holes, because Have you been through one? I don't want to hear those. No, actually, I do want to hear those stories. Yeah, you can just message me later. I've got a few of my own, but we don't know anything about it really, and there's still a school of thought that well, do they really exist? Can we create a black hole on Earth? With the Large Hadron Collider, can we do that? Can we? CERN? Yeah, well, I think we certainly can. I'm no scientist, but these things are out there. But because the film had so many great, big, highbrow ideas and concepts to it, which evolved from the whole disaster movie genre to become a sci-fi blockbuster. Well, that was the intention. But it didn't really deliver any answers, and you were kind of wanting that. So I get sort of frustration with it. And that bizarre ecclesiastical, it's very, I say black and white. It's Hades red for hell, and then you've got this shining bright, golden crystalline light for the good guys. It's a bit on the nose, really. But as I say, the idea was we're gonna go beyond the black hole, which could be the next movie. Beyond the black hole, what was lying beyond it? And given that the fact that Maximilian and Reinhardt kind of meld together, and you see Reinhardt's mad eyes inside Maximilian's, fucking stormtrooper helmet with the glowing red behind it, like they come back. Surely they'd be back, but it never happened. I don't know. The black hole is such great entertainment, but it is not really a kid's film. Even as a kid, I loved the little cutie robots, but I still thought, like, hang on a minute, they don't really belong. This is much darker. As a kid, I grew up watching horror movies from a very early age, so I liked the darker, nastier side of life and or cinematic life. So I really enjoyed the black hole because its overriding atmosphere of dark doom and gloom. But little cute robots to try and keep the other kids who weren't quite as quite as clever and clued up as me, keep them happy. Anyway, well, folks, it's a bit of bad news, isn't it, really? I report on stuff. I don't report on everything that comes through. I get alerts and people message me, this is getting remade, so-and-so's done this, so-and-so's died. I get this stuff. I wake up in the morning and the phone's got about 20 messages from all over the world with stuff which is news, which is all video worthy, but I have to then sort of like, well, I'm busy today and can I talk about that? Then I do a bit of research, and I did it on this, and I thought it came up on loads of different sites. Thought, oh, he's doing it, great, happy with that. He's got the Running Man, is about to come out the starting blocks, and the trailer looks bizarre for the Running Man, Stephen King's Running Man. It's not Arnie's version, we know that, of course, I've discussed it a lot. It looks globe-trotting, explosive, lots of gunplay, violence. There's a bit of a sense of humour to it, which I don't really think should. That is Edgar Wright doing that. In the novella, it's not like that. And if they follow through with the original ending from the book, that's going to be quite a disturbing denouement. And I hope they do, to be honest. But I've said before, when I discussed The Running Man and Edgar Wright's version of it, adaptation of King's novella, I said, like, the problem he's got, if he's going to be faithful to it, the problem is going to be like, well, people are going to be like, well, oh, he's basing it on not the original Arnie movie, it's the original Stephen King novella, so I'm going to go and read that. And then if he's faithful to it, the word of mouth is going to give the ending away. And to give the ending away, you've ruined the movie. I mean, I know that's the thing, the path you've got to take if you're adapting a written piece of work. Simple as that. But The Running Man, I guarantee you there's many people out there that have not read that novella. They only know Arnie's version, and many that haven't even seen that. So the whole thing would be new to them. But if he keeps that ending in, that is really edgy. So people go and wiki it. I'm going to read the book. They'll go and wiki it, and they go, oh my God. And then word will get out. And if he's done it faithfully, the ending's ruined. Because everyone's going to know what it is. See, it's the devil in deep blue, innit? Anyway, folks, I've been playing John Barry's score behind this. It's just a good excuse to play the music again, isn't it? Let's be honest. But I don't want to be... well, Kilt-Man, you said it. Edgar Wright was doing this. And then we've heard it's not happening at all. Well, I was reacting to news I thought was kosher. So, I'm bona fide. There you go. Now I've dotted the I's, I've crossed the T's, I've returned to this and sorted it out. I still wouldn't be surprised if he was going to do this. Certainly, I think a remake, reboot of The Black Hole is going to happen. I personally think it is going to happen. Don't know who's going to helm it, I don't know, but there's no smoke without, there's no smoke without fire. It's that little nugget. Why would someone make that? Why would this Daniel Rickman make this shit up? Unless someone's told him something, or and a bit of Porky Pies, or he's seen Edgar Wright going into a room with Disney head honcho, and there's a big sticker with a black hole on it, and they can hear John Barry's score playing behind the door, and he's like, well, it could only be one thing, can't it? Because why would you do it? This guy's meant to be a reliable source. Why would he wouldn't deliberately come up with some fabricated story, would he? Would he? I don't know. Right, folks, anyway, there you go. That's the latest on the black hole debacle. But let's end it with I think it'll happen. I think you're going to get a remake of the black hole. I genuinely do. And at the very least, you should get a 4K unlimited release. Not some Disney fucking club ultra limited release. Which I didn't get all that, but I know people just did. And I'm fucking jealous as hell. I've got it on DVD, and I've got a supposedly HD sort of download of it. Yeah. But you want a bells and whistles, extras laden release of the original. You do. I do. I know most of you do as well. But not limited. It's out there. The talk of the black hole now is gonna possibly spare things on. Disney, physical media release. Oh yeah, you know what they're like. They're not into it these days. But for a vintage type like this, which has got a cult following, that limited edition sold out very quickly. They know they can sell a shed load more. So let's just keep our fingers crossed this side of the black hole that we're going to get it. Let's hope we haven't got to go through the black hole before we get a fucking 4K steelbook version with extras up the wazoo and back. But talk of remakes, it does spare things on for the original movies as well. So I reckon someone's going to do it. I reckon before too long we're going to get concrete news of a remake of the black hole. Let's just hope and pray. We've lost Rolly McDowell, Slim Pickens, we've lost Robert Forster, Maximilian Schell, Anthony Perkins, we've lost Ennis Bowling, we've lost all the original cast. Yvette Mimeo, I don't know. Probably. I hate to say that. She's going to be pretty damn old. But who would you bring in for the crew? would the story be the same? Have to be somewhat similar. I know Event Horizon, Paul Anderson, yeah, is very similar in many ways. Yeah, bring Sam Neill in. Have Sam Neill as the Reinhardt character in charge of the Cygnus, determined to go through the black hole. Yeah, Sam Neill could do that. He did it in Event Horizon. Starts off as a good guy, becomes a really badass fucking demonic bad guy. I don't know. So, comment below, let me know. Who do you want to direct it? Who do you want to star in it? And do you want cutesy robots? I don't think they'd do that. It'd be AI, they'd be humanoid. They'd be like Ash or Bishop from Aliens. They'd be like that, wouldn't they? I reckon. And the other thing, of course, is given today's sort of almost ritualistic style of like everything's got to be a trilogy. You get a trilogy. Well, the black hole, and then you're gonna go beyond the black hole, and the black hole and back again. You know, you get someone's gonna come out and go like, we're doing a massive trilogy of the whole thing, and you'd be like, do we fucking need a trilogy? Do we? But this is what happens now. They come out with these grandiose ideas. They haven't even made the first film yet. It's going to be a trilogy. You are really banking on a lot of positivity, great reviews, and a lot of moolah, a lot of box office. And I wish they wouldn't do this, because how many times did it fail? Big time. So, but I reckon that's what's on the cards. Someone's going to pick this up and they're going to say it's going to be a trilogy. Anyway, folks, John Barry, take a bow. As I've said many times, as gloriously heroic and fanfaric as it is, it's slow. You're not charging into battle. You're not like, and they have the heroes blasting away, shooting the robot sentries, which I love the design of these things. They're clunky as fuck, like, but they're great at the same time. And you got the meteors coming in, and it's all and running about, and corridors are exploding, and things are going through the sides, and Maximilian's fucking coming down. But the score, and I love this theme, but it's very slow, it's ponderous. All you massive John Barry devotees, of which I am one of your legion, without a doubt, I adore this score. But I love the darker, more atmospheric cues and tracks, which dominate most of the score. But the heroic theme is great, but it's slow. I mean, it's like you're moving through, like, you know, Marshmallow, when they're actually fucking running around and like, and you've got like the eco pod thing, the gardens lift off with the shattering of everything, and the gravity gets sucked out, like, and they hold on to the Vincent and old Bob and get, you know, lifted away. Anyway, I've said enough. Folks, I have been on Shelby Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, when it's ever, let's go through the black hole in between time. Please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and hang on to the nearest robot. And hold on to your horses, because there really isn't, so far, a black hole remake in the works. It was all fake. Fake news, people. Fake news. Move along. I had nothing to do with Epstein. You know, if Trump had nothing to do with Epstein, and that list, you know, he wasn't on the list, he'd be publishing that list, and there'd be T-shirts, you know, make America great again. But where are the T-shirts with no name of Trump on the list? but he hasn't done that. He just says, the guy's dead now. Let's leave it alone. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Oh dear, oh dear. Bit of politics dragged in, sucked in through the vortex, through the black hole there.